On any commercial flooring project, there's a ton of different variables, a ton of different things that happen, and a ton of different decisions that have to be made. One of those things, or one of those pieces of information that's ultra critical for you to be able to make an installation decision, is ensuring that you have good concrete moisture testing information, and specifically relative humidity testing information. Being able to have the information you need when you need it, and in a format that makes it easy for you to see whether or not you can proceed with the project. Now, when we look at relative humidity testing in general, it really is one of the only testing procedures out there for concrete moisture testing that has a scientific pedigree. It has a reason for why we do what we do, how we do it, and when we do it. At Wagnner Meters, we try to give you different ways or different options for being able to ensure that you can do the testing and be able to compile the data the way you want it. And specifically, we talk about the Rapid RH L6 system that we have. We have 3 different ways of being able to compile or monitor that information. First that we have is hands-on monitoring. And hands-on monitoring simply uses the reader that comes with the Rapid RH L6 starter kit, and it allows you, once you have the sensor in the concrete for the specified 24 hours, it allows you to come back on the job site, to be able to take the readings, and on the small LCD display at the top, it'll toggle back and forth between relative humidity and temperature. With that information, you can go through and you can hand document on the sheet that we provide to be able to have that information. So if that is the easiest way for you to do things, you have that option. A slight deviation from that is still utilizing this total reader that comes in the starter kit, but utilizing it to its full potential. And when I say that, there's a lot of people out there that still don't realize that this reader that comes with this kit standard has Bluetooth capability. And so what you can do with this reader, utilizing it in conjunction with the DataMaster L6 app, is that you can still, after 24 hours, come back physically on the job site, take a reading. It'll still display on the top, but at the same time, if you're using the DataMaster L6 app, it will transmit that data, the relative humidity and temperature of the concrete, to the app. But not only that, because there is another recording or sensor on the side of this reader, it will also take a relative humidity and temperature from the air and transmit that information also to the DataMaster app. Now with that DataMaster app, you can go through and you can integrate maps, you can have the floor plans that you can have in there and have pictures of the floor plan. It has teardrops that you can move around and show physically where the placement of the sensors are. And then very simply, once you're done, a couple of swipes, generates a very professional formatted report. You can email it off or print it off for the job file, depending on how you want to do it. Now, the next thing we have is what we call automatic on-site monitoring. Now that, again, utilizes the same equipment that you got in your starter kit, but we try to give it, or we've tried to make a system where you can add stuff to it. I liken it to Legos. You can keep building on top of it to do or have whatever functionality you desire. So with that, you can add what we call our data grabber with Bluetooth. This data grabber with Bluetooth is basically a miniaturized version of the total reader, except it doesn't have an LCD display on it. And so what you can do with this is, again, install the sensor as you normally would, but instead of leaving it empty, you can put this data grabber inside of it and put the cap on. From there, you can go into your DataMaster L6 app and you can program the data grabber to take readings from the concrete at whatever intervals you would like it to be. So you could leave today and come back in 2 weeks, and whatever the prescribed intervals that you've set for that to record, you can physically come back after 2 weeks and retrieve all of that data onto the DataMaster L6 app. Now, some people ask, why is that a big deal? Well, really it's something where for some people, they want to see where the concrete was when they started. They want to see where it is at some certain point down the road without having to go back to the job site every single time to get that information to be able to plot it out. With this, it'll get that information and it'll allow you to see where the concrete was and where it is now. Still have to be on the job site, but the great thing is you get information if you're so inclined to be able to see how that concrete's drying or what physically has happened to the concrete since you've been gone. Now, what I call the holy grail is, again, taking this a step further, is what we call true remote monitoring. And true remote monitoring, in partnership with a company called FloorCloud, allows you to be able to install sensors and to be able to leave the job site, sit in your office, and be able to monitor real time physically what's going on with the concrete in the ambient conditions without having to go back to the job site. Now, how do we do that? Well, again, we still utilize, we're building on top of now, we still utilize that data grabber with Bluetooth, but what we do is we add these two pieces from our side. So this white box here is what we call a DGRE, or a data grabber range extender, and this is a protective dome that goes on top of that. So with Bluetooth signal in the concrete, it doesn't have as good of signal propagation as many would want, or in this case, we need. So with this white box, it acts as an amplifier. So you install the sensor with the data grabber with Bluetooth, just like we talked about earlier. You then place the DGRE on top of it and the protective dome on top of that. Screw it down with the tap cons that come with it. And with our partner FloorCloud, you utilize their on-wall sensor that helps to compile the information and send it to the cloud. So the data grab of Bluetooth takes the information, transmits it up to the white box, the DGRE amplifies it. It amplifies the signal out with the concrete relative humidity and temperature in that data package. That Bluetooth signal is captured by FloorCloud's wall sensor, along with the information that they have, which is the ambient relative humidity and temperature. It puts it all together and sends it off to their cloud-based desktop application. Or they also have an app that'll work with it. Now, the great thing about this whole thing, obviously you can sit off the job site and not physically have to be there to get this information. But when you look at FloorCloud's software platform that they have developed, that's really where the rubber meets the road. The FloorCloud platform is really built by flooring people for flooring people. So when you look at it, they built it so it has different products within there. Really the difference though is not just the wall sensor. It really is, or when I say that, the FloorCloud wall sensor, it really is what else they bring to the table, which is their software platform. Their software platform is built by flooring people for flooring people, and it integrates a lot of the different manufacturers that we use daily into that platform so that you can build a job and be able to get notifications if your parameters, relative humidity and temperature, or your ambient relative humidity temperature are out of specifications for the prescribed manufacturer that you're going to be used on the job. So in the end, with the true remote monitoring option, you're able to get notifications of out of spec parameters for your concrete and your ambient conditions to ensure that you're not sending people to the job site to start installation thinking everything's okay. You're not purchasing product earlier than you need to, and it helps with the scheduling nightmare of this commercial flooring project that we know has a ton of different variables. So with all that, I leave you with this. At Wagnner Meters, one of the things that we've tried to do with the Rapid RH-L6 is we've tried to give you as many different options as possible for whatever your comfort level is. Some people, the comfort level may be just putting the sensors in the concrete and physically handwriting the results. There's nothing wrong with that. There's still a ton of people out there that do that. But if you do desire to have more when it comes to compiling data and looking at how you can save time and effort going back to the job sites, look at the different options that we have out there in our automatic on-site monitoring and our true remote monitoring. With that, this is Jason Spangler signing off.